I have always maintained that the people who have come to the channel and conducted the discussions down in the comments section are a great deal more educated and intelligent than I am. And this proved itself out to be true yesterday when I posted my video about binary thinking. The very first comment came from a viewer named Josh Lockey, and just simply and elegantly put, he asked me, what do we do about it? And it had never occurred to me, at least in a positive sense, to go down a road that might propose some solutions. So I'd like to thank him for that. Sometimes it's the simplest things that create the greatest epiphanies. So what we have in front of us here is what they call the purposes and functions of law. Why do we have laws? Well, the big four here are establishing standards, maintaining order, resolving disputes, and protecting liberties and rights. And when law ceases to function in this manner, and laws begin to cause an upset in society, we need to have the courage to rethink them. And the reason I started here is because there's going to be something I reveal in about 3 or 4 minutes that's going to need to have this as a foundation for it to make sense. The second place that we need to go is the definition of a political party. A political party is defined as an organized group of people with at least roughly similar political aims and opinions that seeks to influence public policy by getting its candidates elected to public office. So basically, in essence, it is just a group of people that all think the same and have the same mindset about where they believe the country should go. So in essence, in my mind, as far as government is concerned, I believe the first step that we need to take with political parties is treat them like religions. Because in essence, that's the same thing. Because a religion is a group of people that have a mindset that thinks the world should be seen in a certain light. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of discussion about the differences that you could point out between religions and political parties, but as far as the government is concerned, I believe to go forward, they have to be treated the same. They should be completely exempt from receiving any tax dollars. And if they want to operate, they should be tax-free as well. But they should have no influence in the sense that they have an advantage monetarily over an independent person. Now, why that's important is because we have term limit laws that only allow a certain president to serve for 8 years, or be elected twice, to be technical. And while that seems like a great idea, it makes law more important than the will of the people. And we've done videos on the will of the people versus the will of the majority. So, in essence, going forward, I think everyone can probably agree, and probably not some Trump supporters, but if this year we had had an option to continue with the current administration, I think it would have won going away. I don't think anybody could have put up a candidate that could have said that things were so bad that change was mandated. So this is the reason I said all that for 4 minutes, is so that I could show you something that I had created myself. And it's this. This is what I believe our ballots should look like going forward. Now, I apologize for the amateur nature of it, but it was the best I could do on short notice. And what this does is it gives the ability for a complete and total census of the entire American people and what they believe to be heard. I think everyone has seen this half a vote nonsense that is put out by the mainstream media, where they say, if you don't vote, for this candidate, then in essence you're giving a half a vote to the other candidate, which mathematically doesn't even make sense. Because think about that. If you're an independent and you're listening to CNN and Fox News and all this, and they say that you're giving a half a vote for the opposite candidate that they want you to vote for, then in essence, you would be giving a half a vote to every candidate you see on your screen. Half a vote for Republican, half a vote for Democrat, half a vote. You'd be entitled to what, 3, 4 votes total if you add it all up? But if you actually vote, you only get 1. So that's just silliness. But this ballot would fix all that. And I'm going to go through how I think this would work and why I think it would work. Now, the first line at the top has 2 boxes, yes or no, and they go all the way down each side. The first rule is you get to choose only one subcategory, and that's it. You don't get to check a whole bunch of different ones depending on all of the different opinions you have. You get one subcategory. So if you like the way things are going and you want the current administration to continue, you can just check the Y in the top left-hand corner. And that would be your vote, and that's what you get. That's it. If you don't like it and you think any change at all would be preferable, then you just check the N in that column. Now let's go down to the next one, Republican. And this will apply for all the parties. If the Republicans, if they're going to run as a party and they're going to run as a group, what they're going to need to do is they're going to need to put up at least 3 candidates that all represent their way of thinking. And this gets us away from demagoguery. This means that if you're going to have an R by your name, or you're going to have a D by your name, that you're going to be part of a group of people, which is in essence what a party is. It's a group of people with an idea. So they would need to say that we have, as a party, we have these 3 people that we think would represent good leadership for the country. And they would fill them in lines 1, 2, 3. So if you're a Republican and you believe in Republican ideals, you would put a check in the Y box, and then you would go over to the 1, 2, 3, and you would check one of those boxes that you think would apply to the leader you think is best suited and best qualified. Now, let's say you're somebody that hates Republicans, okay, and thinks Republicans are horrible, and under no circumstances should we ever have a Republican. Well, real simple. You just go over, you check the N box, and then you also find one of those 3 that you think is really, really disagreeable, and you check that box as well. Same thing for the Democrat, same thing for the Green, all the way down. Now here at the bottom we have a place for independents, and it would be a simple yes or no vote. We also have a place for write-ins, your own personal opinion, or if there's somebody that you for sure don't want to be president, you could say write in Mickey Mouse and put the N next to him and say, no matter what, I don't want Mickey Mouse to be president. The next one I know is going to cause a great deal of confusion and anger and probably a lot of comments about global. Now what this states is that you believe that the U.S. has lost the ability to govern itself in a way that protects the rights and liberties of minorities and does not have the ability anymore to maintain stability. So what you would do is just write in global and check yes. Or you could say, under no circumstances do I think we should ever be under global rule, if that's your take, and you could just check N on that. Now at the very bottom we have a box that says abstain. That means that you do not want to express any kind of an opinion whatsoever about politics this year. And you'll see at the top there's a place for your name and your SSID. Now the reason I think that's important goes to how I've conducted this channel. My name's David Martin and I live in Florida. And I've told people that I'm former Army. I have no problem standing by my words. If people want to make statements and people want to come out and have opinions, regardless of people whether they agree with them or disagree with them, I'll stand by my words, for better or for worse. And if you're going to vote in our country, I believe that you should have to stand by your words, and stand by what you say. No more anonymous voting. It's going to be one of those things. If you're going to be involved and you're going to be civic minded, then you're going to have to stand up for what you believe in. So here's how the tabulation would work. What we would do after all the votes were counted is we would find who received the most positive votes for them. Let's say, for example, the Democrat candidate number 2 received the most votes positively for. That person would then be president, because no other person could say definitively that more American people voted for them. Now, if that candidate in the Democrat Party didn't receive a greater number of no votes, then the Democrat Party would then be able to pick for itself the vice president. And I think that would be fair, because what you would see is the American people stating that, without a doubt, they wanted Democrat leadership. Now, if the person who had the most Democrat votes, if the person who had the most votes was a Democrat, but there were more no votes than there were positive yes votes, then what we would do is we would go to the next highest positive vote total, regardless of where it was and what party. And as long as that person didn't have a higher number of no votes, then that person would be the vice president. If no one anywhere on this ballot garnered more positive votes than negative votes, then we would stay with the current administration. Because what in essence the country would be saying at that point was more people were against all of these candidates than they were against the current administration. And there would be no mandate for change. So I think I've left this up long enough that people can probably look at this and analyze this and give it a much more thorough going over than perhaps I have, and be able to offer some insights as to maybe some changes and see if we can go forward and find something that works for our country. So Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying the day, and I look forward to the comment section. Thank you.